Today on The Big Show, we're hanging out with Taylor Blake Ward, and we're going to be talking some Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim baseball, baby. We're talking about Fish Boy, of course. Also, whether the Big A in Anaheim needs an exorcism. Let's do it. Hey, it's your good friend, it's your pal, it's your compadre. It's TC, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to Sportsnaut Unfiltered. We are live every Monday through Friday right here on The Big Show, trying to make it sexy. And for me, it's all about having a laugh, making some new friends like Taylor today, and not being afraid to call the ridiculous in sports ridiculous, because you know, whether it's sports or a lot of sports fans out there, there's a lot of people that got the broomstick revved right up their tuchuses, and they go to Twitter, no, I got to complain about something, you know. No. We're all about having a good time. We're all about embarrassing and making the people who do that stuff feel shame. Deep, deep shades of shame. We're all about laughing at them, right? Exactly. You know what I'm talking about. Hey, speaking of sexy content, make sure you swing on by the juggernaut of unfiltered sports love. That's at sportsnaut.com. That's sports as in, sports, and not as in you're the juggernaut, baby. Our writers over there, we're not pulling any punches. We're doing the NFL up in style. Obviously, the draft coming up. We're doing Major League Baseball, making it sexy. It is spectacular. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter. That's at TC, everybody. That's T as in Trumbo and C as in Calhoun. Hey. Anyway, all right. One final thing. Hey, if you're digging on my vibe, you got it going on like Casual Miner, baby. Digging on my vibe. I appreciate it. Casual Miner on Twitter. Very nice. Can I ask a favor? Would you tell a friend or a loved one about the show? There you go. That's all I ask. Or, hey, if you want to, you can subscribe to the show on iTunes or on Stitcher or whatever your podcast catcher of choice is. We cool? We cool. And I thank you in advance. So what's going on the big show today? Well, we're talking to Taylor Blake Ward, who is a senior publisher at Scout.com. Taylor, what the heck is a senior publisher?
Well, I run the site for Scout.com. It's the Angels site inside the Halos.com.
Right. And
just kind of take care of all the management there. I write articles about the minor leagues, about Mike Trout's contract, whatever needs to be done. Just the standard news feed of basically any newspaper or any source of internet website-based publications when it comes to sports, and Angels related specifically when it comes to Scout.com.
So you're kind of a jack of all trades. Some would have called you in the 90s the webmaster.
Exactly.
I think we need to bring webmaster back. Nobody says anything about that anymore. So there you go.
I've heard that one in a long time.
Yeah, I know. It's like multimedia. Hey, about some multimedia. You can find Taylor on Twitter. That's Taylor Blake Ward, and as he mentioned, it's Inside the Angels and angels.scout.com, right?
Inside the Halos.
Oh, Inside the Halos. Yeah, there you go. Sorry about that.
Angels.scout.com.
Well, geez, after that opening series with the Mariners, I don't know. It might be inside the Devils these days.
Man,
that was a tough start for the Angels this year, huh?
Just a little bit. I think they face a good team. I think the Mariners are an underrated team. I think they're a good team with young talent, but that was definitely a tough first opening series for them. That was a rough start, those 3 games.
I was trying to remember who I picked to win the AL West this year. I'm usually wrong, but I'm also usually much better than, say, the ESPN.com experts or the Fox Sports or even MLB experts, because there's always, it seems in every division, it's not always the case, but there's usually, in most divisions each year in baseball, there's a surprise team and there's a disappointing team. And this year I've got the Dodgers not making the playoffs. So that's going to be a tough one. I got the Tigers. I got the Tigers not making it, and I got the Red Sox making it. Who I do have making it. I've got the Marlins making it this year. Jose Fernandez is going to win the Cy Young and the MVP. That's my crazy prediction. So, and I think I got the Mariners, and I think I had the Angels actually making the playoffs. But I got the Mariners winning the division. Is that crazy?
I don't think it is. I think the Mariners are, I think with the talent that they have young talent. They have the prospects coming up. Once that team's healthy, that rotation is just absolutely nasty. But they have these young prospects, especially in the rotation. Roenis Elias just making his debut this week, and they have Taijuan Walker, James Paxton, in the third game of the series against the Angels allowed just 2 hits in 7 innings, 2 walks. So that's, striking out of 11. That's something else, especially against that Angels offense. And, Brad Miller, Stephen Romero, you got Ava Almonte at the leadoff spot for the Mariners. I think the Mariners are something, they're that dark horse team that is kind of, just with the young talent they have, is going to be something else, especially with Robinson Cano being the veteran leader on that team. And, you can't really ask for any better veteran to be the leader of your team when you have Robinson Cano.
Yeah, and Justin Schmoke has looked pretty good. Smoking a pancake, baby.
Oh, yeah, he's something else. He's got some real pop behind his bat. It's kind of something we've known since he was in the minor league system with the Mariners, but at the same time, he's really bringing it this time around. I think he's one of those players that has kind of remained quiet for quite some time, and he might end up with maybe not an MVP season this year, but I think people are going to know who he is.
You mentioned young players. Has there been a kind of a slow transition after the last couple of years in your guy, not Mike Salmon? I was want to call him Mike Salmon because of the damn fish thing, man. Fish boy, Mike Trout. I get Tim Salmon. It's that old school in me. Tim Salmon and Mike Trout mixed up. But you've got the poster child for young players. Has it become in the last couple of years? You think ever since the Bonds left the world and the Damons, guys like that, has it become a young man's game now in Major League Baseball with like the Jose Fernandez, as I mentioned, and Trout and some of these other kids?
It seems to be going that way. You've got Trout, like you said, Trout, Hernandez, Puig and Harper, and even the names that are elite are still young guys. McCutchen, Kershaw. They're still in their young to mid, low to mid 20s, and those are kids. It doesn't matter what you say. I think Mike Trout is, to be the best player in baseball at 22 years old it's something that would have never happened 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And I think it's something that, it brings obviously a younger crowd to the plate because Mike Trout's so much relatable for these college kids and for kids that, are playing in high school and want to be the best ever. And he just kind of brings that inspiration to the plate. Obviously there's going to be great players like Miguel Cabrera who, he's 30-ish or so. And, there's Justin Verlander, he's kind of 30-ish or so. And, that you get the run-of-the-mill guys that, just kind of have dimmed off, but the kind of Hall of Famers are kind of now closer to the Hall of Fame. Derek Jeter, Albert Pujols, guys like that are kind of dropping off and trying to kind of not catching up with these young guys. So I think the youth generation has kind of picked up.
So while you guys have got Trout, is it a little scary that if it is becoming a young man's sport now in Major League Baseball, that the Angels kind of have an older roster?
They do. I mean, you look at just that offense alone. Cole Calhoun, the leadoff man. He's a young guy, and you start off with Calhoun to Trout, but after that, it just kind of tends to get older and older. You've got Pujols to Hamilton to David Freese to Raul Ibanez, who of course is 42 years old, and
yeah.
It's you don't really have that young system, and that's something that's been an issue with the Angels, is giving up draft picks early, and the farm system has been voted by many professionals the worst in baseball for quite some time now, and there aren't many young guns that are shooting up right away. They picked up some young pitchers, which has helped out. Young pitchers in the rotation, Tyler Skaggs, Hector Santiago. But at the same time, young pitchers aren't necessarily what you necessarily need, because you want the experience more times than none on the mound.
I got a buddy who loves Hector Santiago. He's like telling me, "Oh, I just love this kid. He's going to be great." He drafted him in his fantasy baseball league. What's the buzz around the world of the Angels? You think Hector Santiago can be a surprise and be a number 1 or 2 starter for the Angels this year?
Well, I'll tell you what, fans love him. He's very social with the social media aspect, with Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. He's very a fan kind of guy. We've talked to him, and he says, he wants to. His dad kind of did the lead with him up in New Jersey, where he grew up, and I think the fans like him a little bit more than they should right now. He's a good pitcher. He's got a screwball that's incredible. Left-handed starter. I don't know about the potential to be a number 1 or 2 starter, but I think he's kind of settled into that 3 spot in the rotation. I think that's a good spot for him. He has a little bit of command issues. He's going to walk a few guys every now and then, but he's also going to strike out maybe double as much as he walks, which at this level you need to be a little bit higher than that. But for him being a young guy, that's a nice start. So
the wife tells me I got a hell of a screwball too, so I got that going for me. Me and Hector, we got the nasty screwball. So hey, we're speaking with Taylor Blake Ward. You can follow Taylor on Twitter. It's Taylor Blake Ward. On my 87 Twins, they acquired the veteran Don Baylor for a little leadership in the clubhouse. And this poor guy on opening day, what in the world?
Oh, man, that was a bummer. There's no one like Don Baylor. I mean, we were talking to social just the other day, and we were asking him about, and he was coming up in 81, 82 and everything, and he was saying, he as a kid, because that's what he was at the time, and he said, when he would talk to the veterans, no one was more admired by the veterans than Don Baylor. And I think that, I don't think anything's changed over time. I think Don Baylor is still one of the most admired people in baseball, not just for his outstanding play. Obviously we know all about Don Baylor with the MVP years and just an incredible player, but he's an incredible man too. He's as nice as they come, and to see him go down like that and buckle his at first I thought it was buckling his knee. Found out he has a broken femur. It's a big loss. Not just the Angels, obviously, with their offenses, him being a hitting coach, but just you never want to see anyone get hurt, but especially someone that's as special of a human as Don Baylor.
Have the Angels looked into like an exorcism type of thing around home plate, because it hasn't been kind to the Angels over the past?
No, it hasn't. Sadly, it's been something. Kendry Morales, when he was there 2 years ago with the walk-off grand slam coming into home plate and bust open his knee. That was something else, and Yeah, home plate's something else at Angel Stadium. I'll tell you that.
I think you guys need to be calling a priest there, man. It's definitely right out of The Exorcist, man. Yeah. Holy cow, man! Home plate there. That's insane.
No doubt about that.
So when my Twins would play the Angels, you guys had a lot of you guys have had some prospects come up over the years. Eric Ibar, obviously Trout now. Two of the guys that I always loved when I was watching the Angels was Trumbo and Borges. Maybe because I just love Peter Borges' name, because it kind of sounds like Peter. I don't even know if I say it right anymore, because it's just I take gorgeous and put a B on it, so it's Peter Borges. He is Borges.
Well, I'll tell you what. That's what they called him at Angel Stadium. That's what the girls called him, was Gorgeous Porges. So,
so what'd you think of those deals? I know you guys got some, like you said, you got Ricky Skaggs. Don't call me Tyler. I mean Tyler Skaggs. Don't call me Ricky Skaggs. And you got the screwball. What'd you think of giving up Borges and Trumbo, man?
Well, it's when you have the outfield depth that the Angels have, someone had to go, and I don't think anybody wanted Peter Borges to leave. Peter Borges was he was a good clubhouse guy. He was obviously a good baseball player, very old school style with the high socks, and just something. Sometimes the small ball guy is what you need, especially within the social system. But they gave up Randall Grichuk also in that trade, and they got basically what they needed. Both teams kind of got what they needed. The Cardinals needed a center fielder, and the Angels needed a third baseman, who they got in David Freese, and they needed to add a little bit of depth to the bullpen, which they got in Fernando Salas, who was near a Cy Young season 3 years ago, out of the bullpen even. And, they're just kind of hoping that Salas can take over his role in the bullpen, because that's when you're there. That's, your main focus is what is your role and how are you going to, work that role every game. And I think Salas is I think Salas was the better pickup, honestly, out of the two guys that came over. And David Freese, obviously, he has his postseason heroics and this clutch bat, but at the same time, he's proven himself to be a heck of a baseball player too. So I think both teams got what they were looking for, and I think it was a pretty fair trade. When it came to the Trumbo trade and the mayhem during winter meetings, that was a busy couple of days for us. It started with a false rumor about Trumbo going to Colorado and then Miami, and it was all over the place. So we were kind of, when I first heard, Trumbo's going to Arizona, I'm like, okay, well, for who, for what, all this stuff. And, like I said, it was one of those things where the Diamondbacks got what they needed, the Angels got what they needed. They needed depth to the starting pitcher role and kind of added to the rotation. They got two guys that they added to the rotation, which is, something you don't, you can't necessarily do in today's game, but you do have to give up a bat like Mark Trumbo, and Mark Trumbo is something else to watch. I haven't seen anyone with power like him in the last 5 years. He's something else. But I think when you look through the whole trades and the whole system, I think the White Sox are happy with what they got out of the Trumbo trade as well. So I think all three teams, the Diamondbacks, the White Sox, the Angels, got what they wanted. And I think the Cardinals and the Angels got what they wanted out of every trade that was dealt this offseason.
So I was telling the missus that with Fishboy getting the new contract, perhaps he might have a letdown. And the missus is a big fan of Fishboy, Mike Trout, and she says, no way, he's 100%, he's a gamer, he ain't going to have a let-up. Is that the consensus in Los Angeles?
100%. You can't imagine that he could get better, but it seems like he already is getting better. He's something else. It's incredible to see what he does every day. Seeing him play every game, and I would say I'm one of those firm believers that he wouldn't. He's not going to dip down. He might even get better, and I think we're in the presence of maybe another Mickey Mantle. I never saw Mickey Mantle play, but at the same time, you look at the numbers alone, and you can compare him to Mike Trout, and you hear from the older guys that played with Mantle or anything like that. They say, "Yep, it's just like it." And I think we're in the presence of something incredible with Mike Trout. He's a very special player. He's a special kid, great to work with, and I think the next 7 years in Anaheim for him is going to be great. And when he's done with those 7 years, obviously he's an East Coast kid. They say that the Phillies are his team when he was growing up, and the Yankees and the Sox out there, they have the money to spend on him. But I think after the 7 years are over, I think the girlfriend he's with, I think she might turn into a wife, and that might turn into kids. And I think Anaheim's going to be his home. I think the legacy is going to carry on for Mike Trout, and I think he's going to be a full-time Angel, a career Angel.
I think as long as there's no, traffic jams and issues in Los Angeles, I think he'll be there forever.
Well, he said he likes the weather, and I got to tell you, I'm looking at snow outside my window right now. I live in a different part of California when the team's on the road, but the weather's pretty A-okay in Anaheim.
Hey, speaking of A-okay and letdowns, Josh Hamilton. I only bring his name up because I'm curious at the ballpark when Hamilton does something well. Do they pull out the Jeff Spicoli Fast Times at Ridgemont High? All right, Hamilton. Or do you know that reference?
I do. No, I do actually. Josh is, he had his struggles last year. There's no denying it, and I think he's set the bar high for himself this season. He started it off pretty hot, and I think that this is kind of his redemption year. He before the season even started, he came in 40 pounds heavier, and the 40 pounds heavier was all muscle. He's healthier than ever. I think this is Josh's year to prove himself again as one of the elite players in baseball. And he said that he's capable of hitting 300 with, 40 bombs and 100 RBIs, and I don't think I can doubt him on that. I think Josh Hamilton is one of the hardest working players in baseball, and when you're at the ballpark every day, you see that, he's not just some slouch, he's not a slump, he definitely wants to be the best baseball player he possibly can be, and I think that's going to show this season. I think he's capable of a comeback year, and it's going to be something special.
All right, Hamilton. Well, you make sure you get that exorcism set up there at the. Is it still called the Big A in Anaheim?
It's still a Big A, and I'll make sure to pour some holy water on home plate for you.
You definitely need that. You are the best, buddy boy. I appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you as well, man. Have a wonderful afternoon.
All right, let's wrap it up. Once again, you can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, and also it's available in the app called Swell. Yeah, I kid you not. It's like hell, but swell. Or well, but swell. Whatever you want to call it there. Of course, the show is also available on Sportsnaut.com. I call it my lover. Some call it the juggernaut of love. And everybody else calls it the unfiltered sports juggernaut. Make sure you swing on by. Check it out. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter. It's TC Everybody. It's T as in Trumbo, C as in Calhoun. And then, of course, if you want to shoot me an email, it's tc@sportsnaut.com. Once again, big thanks to Taylor coming on the big show. You can follow Taylor on Twitter. It's Taylor Blake Ward. That's Taylor as in the kid from, what is it? Is that kid's name from Home Improvement? Blake as in Robert Blake. Well, that's probably not a good analogy to make. Taylor's going to come get me for that one. And then Ward as in, don't you think you were a little hard on the Beaver last night, Ward? Exactly. Who doesn't love a Leave It to Beaver reference? Well, assuming you were born, before 1999. There you go. All right. And of course, inside the halos, man. It's all about inside the halos. That is a sexy, sexy website. It's part of scout.com. It is angels.scout.com. There you go. All right, we good there. Sorry about the Robert Blake reference there, Taylor. Oh, man, he's going to kill me. I love you, Taylor. There you go. All right, let's put this bad boy in the books. Have yourself a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the emergency room.